Second Cup is brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Care Center.
Hello.
Look at how the mic is in front of my face today. You see what I'm saying? Look
I
at
wonder
yours.
what happened. Like, let's.
Oh my gosh, IT Ed,
There you
saving
go.
the day. Thank you.
Just, add it to the list of responsibilities.
Plenty to do. What did Keon say?
He is glad that he and his coaches are on the same page now about how great he can be.
No, it was like the demanding greatness. Or
Oh,
something.
yes, he is also demanding greatness from himself. And I
Everyone around.
added from others around you.
Demand greatness. That's the theme on this Friday morning. I'm so glad it's Friday. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for hanging with us.
Yes, glad you're with us. I'm just reading all the comments here. Good morning from Saratoga, New York. Mark is here. I'm wondering, Mark, what you doing in Saratoga? Mom is here.
Aunt
Hi,
Diane.
Diane. Oh, this is not
It's Aunt Diane.
Aunt Diane. Gina, I'm sorry, is your mom. I apologize. Aunt Diane. Is it aunt or is it aunt?
I say aunt, I think.
How do we?
But I had one aunt who's Aunt Ida. Like that
Okay.
was like it's Aunt, it's Aunt Ida.
Yeah, I don't have aunts. I have aunts. Like they are, they're my aunts.
Yeah. My dad's on Twitter today.
Oh.
chiming in.
Big Epsy. I love
He
that.
switched it up.
Oh, cool.
Belmont
Mark is at the
Steaks.
Belmont Steaks. That's
That's horse
awesome.
stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Aunt is the Western New Yorker way.
Yeah, that's the other way to say it. Dallas is auntie. So I call my Aunt Diane auntie. Like we just straight up go by auntie.
Okay, that's cute.
Aunt.
My Aunt Ellie and my Aunt Dawn.
Aunt.
And then Russ's aunts, Aunt Teresa and Aunt Lori,
Yeah.
Aunt Maria. Yes.
Period.
Period.
Kristen. Purr.
Her kiss. It is Friday. It's so Friday. It is
Needed to show John time.
so Friday.
Why are you bringing me in?
I'll never bring
Everyone
you in
wants to see
again.
your
That's the
face.
last time I ever bring John in.
Auntie is British, is what Danielle says.
Oh, auntie. Oh, yeah, they do say that.
Auntie. I say, what did I say? Auntie?
Auntie.
Isn't it cute? Vincenzo, our nephew, calls Andrea Auntie.
Auntie.
Isn't that cute? Dante. He's so cute. I just love them.
That's very cute.
Linda, love you guys. Thanks for the laugh. You are so welcome, girl. If we don't laugh, we cry, you know?
Exactly. Always here to give you a good giggle heading into the weekend. What are you guys doing this weekend? What are the
Anything
plans? Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day. We have all that rain today, but it should be out by the end of the day. And then Sunday, sunshine early, and then rain returns for later in the day. So you should have plenty of time to get some fun stuff in. There's Greek Fest happening this weekend.
Love that.
That's super fun. My
It's
friends want to
late
go.
this year. Isn't it usually around the same time as Pride Weekend?
I feel like it is,
Right?
yeah, usually.
Whatever. I mean, this is cool. I'm excited for it. I mean,
Yeah.
they have really great food
The
there.
food, I mean, that's the highlight, right?
right?
Like, good
No
gracious.
doubt. Your dad's golfing.
Golfing.
Joe has a
Joe.
golf trip. Love that.
I was just saying yesterday that golf is entirely too long. I don't know who created this sport, but it's someone with a lot of patience. And I can't imagine anything worse than having to do one thing for that long. And it's so boring.
Do you know what? I think it is. I think it comes with age. And here's what I'm going to say. I think people who understand that time is well spent doing something that you enjoy. I think it's relaxing and it's probably like a mental kind of de-stressor.
Yeah, it takes you away from
Exactly.
But golf is also very difficult. So it's
Yeah,
hard
100%.
to do a good job at it. And you're doing it for hours on end. So I get frustrated. You know, you do it wrong or whatever. I feel like you're frustrated for 4 hours.
Sure. That makes sense. I get that too, because I think both of us, we're type A, we're perfectionists.
I would like to get it in the hole the first
Right.
time and not have to worry about it. Don't you dare.
a hole in one.
Exactly.
A hole in one.
Anyway, you hit it in the sand, in the water or something. At that point, I'm going home.
Yeah, bye.
I'm not doing it anymore. Like, it's way too long.
Yeah.
Oh, what, the golf sucks? Auntie, that's...
A great walk wasted.
I guess if you run the golf cart and you got a couple drinks,
Sounds like a great time.
Sounds like a good time for 4 hours, but good gracious.
Lynn's going on a camping trip. Barbara says
goodness.
unpacking, settling back in after being in Florida all winter.
Our snowbird made it back.
Setting up the patio, weeding, hanging baskets. That sounds like a great time.
Weeding.
Kelly says working. Got to get the good weather while I can.
It's probably perfect weather for you out there, Kelly.
Right. She's working outside, getting ready for a graduation and ship-off party for her son. And again, thanks for his service. How exciting. We should be
Yes.
really proud of that.
Noreen's got her granddaughter's dance recital. She's amazing. Congrats to her. Treveline's going to be planting those flowers.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, this morning, we're kind of marking this weird time in Western New York history. It has been 10 years since the escape from Dannemora. Do you remember this moment when these two dangerous men who had help from the inside got out of their prison cells, climbed through the tubes in the prison walls, and then made it out to the street through the manhole?
I think this is just a crazy thing. So, like, for you, reliving it, obviously you were working here and you were covering this. You know, hearing about it, not having been here, I'm like, I can't imagine what it was like to cover this. This is so crazy. They use power tools to get out of there.
And so all of that came from Joyce Mitchell. She was working on the inside in one of the areas that had access to these criminals. David Sweat and Richard Matt. Richard Matt had ties to Western New York before he was shot and killed by police. And right, exactly, Peter. I forgot about that escape until you mentioned it. 10 years, no less. So we had at one point thought that they were here in Western New York. We thought that they had come back to Allegheny County. There were like railroad tracks that they could have followed to get here. Like everyone was trying to figure out how could they have made it from Clinton Correctional all the way down here to Allegheny County and what could have happened in the in-between.
Oh, gosh.
So, there was this one day where there was this hubbub of activity down in the town of Friendship or the village of Friendship in Allegheny County. And I went down there with a photographer and was basically just trying to develop information. I mean, there was a ton of stuff going on, police everywhere.
Imagine if you had seen them. Imagine if they were there.
Genuine fear.
What do you do?
Right. People were very, very concerned. But then I stayed there overnight, Saturday into Sunday, for like special morning show coverage the next day, and just trying to develop information. And all night long, there are police just coming and surrounding the area and swarming and getting into formation. It was really it was intense to see.
It was like Buffalo's own Shawshank.
Turns out they weren't there.
Right.
So all for naught. Interesting. Rachel. Richard Matt lived across the street from me many years before any of this happened. Never actually saw him, though, or knew anything about him. He didn't live there long.
But just to know that he was right across from you and then all of this happens, you probably recognize that name. You're like, wait, isn't that the guy who lived across from me?
Crazy.
Goodness.
It's been 10 years. Wow, I know. Jesus, time flies, Kelly says. And how about this,
I should watch
Maureen?
the movie.
It is so good.
Is it? Who's in it?
It's so good. I don't really know, but Ben Stiller, I think.
Oh, really?
I think he directed it.
Oh, cool.
Or maybe that might have been the HBO series. I can't remember, but he had some connection. Maureen says, watching Escape at Dannemora on Netflix, very heavy, but it's so interesting.
Interesting.
And this was my other point, too.
Yeah.
These two escaping, and there's a similar situation that's happened in New Orleans, right? And there are so many parallels, but distinctions between the two cases. Both of them left notes. There was this distinctive smiley face that was left in the Clinton Correctional Facility by one of the, right? And then, to hear how they escaped in New Orleans, and then the notes that were left on the cell wall, too easy. I mean, these are things that you just never forget. Meantime, I think that there are still some inmates who are on the run.
Yes.
This morning from New Orleans. So time will tell before they are, arrested and taken back into
Remember the
custody.
Michael Burham case?
Right.
You had that happen here in Western New York. I mean, that was going on for more than a week. That they ended up finding him on a Saturday. So I was working. We had to drive all the way down there. I think prison escapes are some of the wildest things that you can imagine, because I mean, they do happen, they are reality,
right.
But how do you, it's so difficult to cover because you don't have any of the information, but obviously the community is scared and you want to get them all the information that you can. So you're just like, here we are.
These were dangerous men. I mean, David Sweat is still in jail right now. I mean, and then the escape from a maximum security facility. I mean, one was a cop killer. So there was concern.
Oh, goodness.
And then, Peter, I remember the Ralph Bucky Phillips case in 2006. And we heard from a retired top law enforcement official, Steve Nigrelli. He was the former acting superintendent for the state police. He was a captain at the time. He was involved in the search for Bucky Phillips.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, it kind of brought back those memories. And, you say Bucky Phillips, and everyone in Western New York knows and remembers that chase. I think it was going down the 219 or the 90, one of those major highways. People are fascinated, as you mentioned, by this.
10 years. I mean, everyone's just mentioning it feels like it was yesterday.
Right?
I can't believe it's been that long.
Rachel says, we had heard he murdered some older man in North Tonawanda, a business deal gone bad or something like
Who,
that.
Richard Matt?
Yes, I guess so. Who lived across the street from Rachel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oof. Crazy. Now they want to hire 18-year-olds as CEOs. Well, great point. So interesting, though. So you can watch Maki Becker's full story as she kind of recaps and recounts what happened 10 years ago on WKBW.com.
Yeah, it's an interesting look back.
It's very, very telling of like where we were, where we are.
Right. What's changed, what
exactly hasn't. Where we have to go. So, how about this? Buffalo Public Schools banning cell phones in schools next year.
So, I mean, it's a whole thing from the governor. We've talked about it a million times. It's a whole statewide initiative. What are they calling it? Like distraction-free schools. That's how, but it's really the cell phone ban, right? That's how we know it. So statewide, all schools have to figure out how they're going to do this. Buffalo Public Schools have said, okay, here's our plan, how we're going to do this. Kids are going to come into school, no matter what school they are in. Buffalo Public Schools have to drop their phone off as they come in. They can't get it until they're leaving the building after that. Now, there are some people who are like, thank God, kids are way too distracted in schools. They're, using these phones to look up all the answers to the tests and everything. They need to be engaged in learning. And then there's some people who say, I need to be able to reach my child if something happens.
So where do you stand on this issue? I mean, do we think that this is going to be a good thing for students, or do we think that it's going to be difficult come September for the school to effectively ban cell phones during the day?
Well, let's say a kid comes in and is like, oh, I don't have my phone on me. I just left it at home.
Right.
And are they going to pat the kid down and make sure? Because, I mean, you could just easily say, I don't have it, and then have it.
Connie says they should just turn them off Wi-Fi. Then no one can be on them.
Right.
Or turn off the Wi-Fi, I think you mean. Linda says, considering that we had no cell phones back when I was in school, it's no big deal. Peter says, I was at a wedding this past weekend and met and talked to a BPS teacher, and she is frustrated that students are on the phones all the time and take advantage of phone use.
It changes the classroom dynamic so much when you don't have that attention. And you're dealing with teenagers, or if you're talking about high school, you're dealing with young people, right? It's already difficult to keep their attention and to make sure that they're focused on you. Then you add in the phones, and it's got to be hard for a teacher to break through and to really get to them and make sure that they're learning what they need to know. And as a teacher, it's your job, to make sure that by the end of the school year, you're seeing progress. And I can imagine it's frustrating to not be seeing that progress when phones are in.
What is it like talking to a friend or talking to a significant other when they're on their phone, right? And you're trying to have a conversation. How do you cut through that? I go, hello?
I'll stop talking.
Hello?
I'll wait. I'll hit the teacher and then
I'm going to turn the lights off.
I'll wait. I'll wait.
Danielle says, who's in charge of these phones all day? That's a great question, too.
Yeah, they're just going into one big bin and is someone going to grab my phone? Is it going to be there at the end of the day?
These yonder pouches, those magnetic closures. Rachel says, unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be a way to stop them from being on them unless they are taken away.
Yeah.
Barbara says it'll be difficult to start with, but like any habit, it'll take time and eventually be comfortable.
My dad is asking some questions. How are you managing the phones every day? How long is the phone drop off and pickup process each day, right? Are kids going to run towards the front of the school at the end of the day and just be diving into bins looking for their phone? Are they going to have those assigned pouches?
Right.
I mean, how are you going to find your phone? What does that process look like?
So, Kim brings up a point, and I think somebody else brought something up about, I survived the 60s and 70s without a phone. So I hear you, and I am so glad, Kim, that you are weighing in here so we can share your voice. And right, Kareen, back in the day we communicated in class with notes. So I wonder if there is a generational disconnect.
I think there is. And I think that, we saw a lot of those comments and we see a lot of it okay, I grew up without this. Kids can too. But it's different because they've had it all their lives. So like it's interesting for me. So I grew up like without cell phones, right? Like I remember we didn't have like iPhones or anything, but we got them by the time I was in high school. So I remember a time before them and I remember living with them. They weren't as advanced enough where we could be, on them. There was no TikTok or anything like that, but we had our phones in school and we could, reach our parents whenever we wanted to and all these things. It was a problem, obviously, for distraction, but it wasn't that bad. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of in between, but it's kind of hard to compare. Okay, I grew up in this time and I didn't have this, but it's a completely different situation for these kids, I think, because they're still learning on these kind of devices. So they're in front of these devices. The world is just much different than the 60s and 70s when you didn't have them. So it's hard to compare because of that generational divide.
Colleen says, how about parents be parents? Don't use your phone in school. Plain and simple. My dad, a former teacher, retired teacher, teachers have to compete against phones for students' attention. Mm-hmm. And then, to your dad's point, Apple Watches will also have to be taken off. Anything that's internet connected will have to be given away at the start of the school day and will be returned at the end of the day. Now, that's not to say that they won't have devices. If the school is issuing a device like a tablet or a laptop, they will still get those devices. And there are special exemptions for kids who are on an IEP or have some certain documented issues to still continue using those phones. Right. Medical issues, for instance, like the Comcast, ComScore, what is it called? The thing that you can get your diabetes score on. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's Com something.
I know what you're talking about, but you can check your sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting because kids are so dependent on them. How are they going to perform without them? How are they going to? Oh, there it just came to you.
Yeah.
It's so weird to think, right? If they're at home all the time, on the phone, they get to school and they're off the phone. I wonder how that'll change things for them, if they're going to be able to be more focused or if if they won't be able to.
Is this a growing pain? Do we just have to go back to, we all say, I miss the simple times. I miss the 90s. I miss the 2000s. Like, we didn't have cell phones until, 2005, really. I mean, people had them, but they were, track phones and, simple things. They didn't have the internet. We couldn't use internet on the phone.
Danielle said she had to ask for permission to use a payphone in school. I've never used a payphone before.
Oh my God.
You've used a payphone?
Yes, of course I have. You call collect and then you just hang up after you give your message.
Who's collect?
Stop it. What do you mean?
You call collect? What is that?
Like 1-800-COLLECT.
And then what happens?
Then they say, okay, who do you want to call? And the other person on the other end would have to pay to connect the call.
They know the number?
A collect call? Well, you would enter the number.
Why do you need collect?
Because if you don't have the money to pay in a payphone, then this service, 1-800-COLLECT, would then call. It's kind of like a middleman. They would call the other line.
And then they pay for you.
Right. So the other person would have to then pay for the phone call.
Oh, I would always call collect. Why am I paying? How much is it?
It was expensive, I think. It wasn't expensive, but it was a fee, right, that you don't want to have to pay.
Like how much?
I honestly don't know. Right, exactly. You've never heard "We Had a Baby Eats a Boy"?
Huh? Wait.
Can we find this commercial?
I wish I was joking.
You have to be joking. Come on.
I've heard it. Obviously, I've heard. Oh, I'm gonna call collect or whatever. I didn't know what the process was or what that meant. I'm genuinely being educated in this moment about calling collect. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know. I had a cell phone when I was 10.
Oh my God.
I got a cell phone in the year 2008 when I turned 10 years old.
Jeez Louise. Yeah.
I had a little flip phone. It was cute. I called my Nana on it every day. Okay, what's this Eats a Boy?
Operator, I'd like to make a collect call, please. First name Bob. Last name is We Had a Baby Eats a Boy.
Hello?
Collect call for Mr. Bob. We Had a Baby Eats a Boy.
Sorry, wrong number.
Who's that, dear?
Bob, they had a baby. It's a boy.
Oh.
Don't cheat the phone company. Save money.
Isn't that so funny?
Okay, so he was trying not to pay by communicating information via his name.
But if you called an 800 number, it would go through.
Okay.
Because it was toll free. Stop! Come on! Come
I
on!
really don't.
We had a baby eats a boy. It's Bob. They had a baby. It's a boy.
Why were they not excited? They didn't care. Yeah, I don't know. Payphones sound disgusting and dirty to me.
They are.
I like every time I'm watching movies or something, I think it's cool. Like everyone's like, oh, hit all the buttons and wait for it.
Some of the payphones had the rotary dial too.
Also, like, how are you going to know that someone was going to be by their phone?
I mean, you
With
didn't.
landlines.
You didn't. And frankly, I mean, that's why they had answering machines. Do you remember answering machines?
Oh yeah, because I just watched the Friends episode where Monica was on the guy Rich's answering machine, and she like messed it all up and like got all embarrassed. But like, yeah, you can leave you're to leave a message. Beep.
Right. I used to record my dad's. You've reached the office of Dr. Kevin Dranch. And I thought it was so cool, like to be on the voice of his voicemail. I thought it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then you come home, you hit the button, you listen to all your messages.
Yes.
But
You've
then,
got
oh my gosh,
one
you're so
unheard
behind.
message. Right. But that was the joy of growing up in like the 90s and the 2000s. It wasn't instant.
What was my dad saying? You dial 0 for who?
The operator.
So it's someone's job to sit somewhere and be like, this is collect.
Well, so yeah, that was the service. But then like the operator, if you dialed 0, it was with like the company, like the phone company.
Oh yeah, like when you call someone now and you need to hear from someone,
Yeah.
you just hit 0.
Though I don't know. Are there operators anymore nowadays? I don't know. Like,
I don't know what that is.
Taylor, I have to ask, have you seen a cassette tape?
No, I encourage this. Please mock me. I have my dad's. I remember my dad's car growing up. I'm pretty sure it had. Dad, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure you had a cassette tape player thing in
the
there,
car.
like you could put it in there,
Yeah.
and then it kind of.
And that wasn't standard at some times.
What does that mean?
Like a car didn't come standard, like it with a cassette player. That might have been an upgrade.
Oh, to add the cassette player,
Yeah.
and then CDs were. I was in the CD generation.
Okay.
So, but there were cassettes. I know what that is. I know what a boombox is. Hold it there. Change the tape.
Do I remember the 411 to get a phone number? Yes, of course. Calling information.
What's the 411?
Like you would exactly. And then my grandma. Oh my God, my grandma. God rest her soul. May her memory be a blessing. She used to dial *69. Do you know what *69 is?
Then you hide your number.
No, that's
Oh.
*67.
What is that?
*69 is if you miss a call on a landline, then you can use this service *69 to find out who the last caller was on your landline.
Oh.
So if you missed the call and you're like, oh God, I've been waiting for this call. Who's calling me? They didn't leave a message. You would dial *69 and it would give you the phone number of the person who last called you.
Okay.
So that cost 75 cents each time you did it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And this would like come in the mail?
No. Oh, that was instant. Like that would tell you, like if you dialed *69, it would.
No, like they send you a bill, like the
Oh,
invoice
yeah.
so you had
Or
to,
it would go on your phone bill.
Interesting. Kind of thinks I need to watch a movie from the 50s. Like what, girl? I don't think I know any movies from the 50s. And someone asked me if I remember phone books.
Oh
It's
my
Connie. Do I remember phone book? Yeah. You like, if you need to get up on something, you
Yeah.
stack them together. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember having to use a phone book, the Yellow Pages.
Oh, the
How
yellow
do
pages.
how do you get in the phone book?
Everyone was in the phone book. It's a public
How do
thing.
you get in there? So like, let's just
If
say
you
I
have
got a phone.
number.
So when you have a phone number, you're automatically entered.
A landline, yeah.
What happened to privacy?
There is
Everybody
none.
knows my number?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Oh my
And at some
God.
payphones, there would even be a phone book there also.
Oh, so you could just look up. Oh.
Yes. And I mean, like people used to walk around with a black book, like a Rolodex of phone numbers and addresses,
And people used to
a Filofax.
or you would like have to remember like numbers. And I remember it was a big
Yeah.
thing. It's like, oh, do you even know your parents' phone number? And I was like,
Oh my God, I still remember my grandparents' phone number, 735-3368. I mean, they're both dead, so it doesn't even matter to call it.
That's what you call it if you want. Yeah. There was something else old that I meant to mention. I forget.
Your dad says that you could request to be unlisted, though.
Oh, if you didn't want anyone in your business
Correct.
in the Yellow Pages.
Yes.
Is it Yellow Pages?
It's the
right?
white pages for personal. Yellow was business.
Oh.
And then there was also the blue pages.
You have to pay to be unlisted. Because you had a landline
This
and
is
address.
the funniest second cup ever. Like,
and then you have a pager, right? To say
I never
someone
had a
was trying
pager.
to. Oh, is that before you?
a little bit before me.
Okay.
I was too young to have a pager, though I did really want one.
And this is like you're wearing it on your belt, and then someone calls your pager.
Right. So your pager had its own phone number, and you would either type in like a coded message and it would pop up and be like, oh, I need to 143, I love you. You knew who that was coming from. Or, you would say 911 and it would be like, oh my God, I got to call this person. But then otherwise you would just like leave your number, find a payphone and call that person.
Interesting. 8-track tapes. Is that the same thing as the cassette tape?
No, 8-tracks were literally 8-tracks, but they're bigger than cassette tapes. And you had an 8-track player. We never had them as
Portable?
I think that there were some portable 8-tracks.
Walkman? Hit me on my hip. Oh my gosh. Michael Curtis.
My husband had a pager. Marguerite, party lines? We never had party lines.
Call and they wouldn't get on.
Yeah. Lynn says we had pagers in middle school and we had 25 cents to call home when our parents sent us a message. Exactly.
My sister's like, my sister and I have this joke that I'm the older sister and she's the younger sister.
Oh my
but
God.
She, definitely.
Right, exactly. And Mariah dropped Sweet Summer Jams.
On the 8-track?
Oh my God. Sweet, sweet fantasy baby.
Reel to reel tapes.
Oh
KS,
my
what's that?
God. It's cassette tapes.
Cigarette lighters came standard.
Yes, it's true.
In the car?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
You would push the thing in, and then when it was all heated up, when the coil was all hot and ready, it would pop back out.
The cigarette?
The cigarette lighter.
Oh.
So there was no actual flame. It was like an electric stove almost. You would turn it on, the coils would heat
Just
up.
get hot.
Yeah.
Is that not a hazard?
It was a huge hazard.
Oh, okay.
And people stopped smoking then after a while. There were
Yeah.
also ashtrays in cars.
Smoking sections.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Bump that 8-track.
Like,
Hit me on my hip.
You're plugging in like I don't know, like a 12-volt thing. Say you've got a cell phone charger, and you know how it has the piece that you plug into the car.
Right.
You're plugging that into the cigarette lighter.
That's crazy.
Right?
And then, you guys also, this was the window, right, in the car?
Yeah.
Had to roll it down.
Yep.
Wish-
Electric windows weren't standard either. My dad, I know. You literally had to upgrade to get windows that rolled down. Otherwise, you were cranking.
You could get news on a pager?
That's news to me. Tell me more about that, Tim.
Pager that could get sports, weather, and news on it, so you're just sitting there.
Right, exactly.
Sorry, guys.
Jeff Baker, everyone had to touch the lighter at least once and have that circle burnt into your finger.
Oh my God.
Paula says, my first job at an elementary school, my principal had a large ashtray on his desk and would smoke during conferences. Jeez.
What's a two-way?
Two-way, like a Nextel?
You guys just keep saying words. A two-way pager.
Do you know what a Nextel
I
is?
don't know who a Nextel is.
Oh, dear.
Nextel.
It was like the chirp. Broop. Like it was like a walkie-talkie cell phone. So in other words, instead of having to like call somebody, you would chirp them. And it would be like, you'd be in the middle of class, you'd be like, tell her stupid.
What is this? I'm just learning that standard means comes with the car.
Well, in some cases, there were different levels. Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh my God, you are so funny.
My sister had a Nextel. Ashtrays in the grocery store?
Oh my God, this is hysterical. Wow, it's 8:29. We got to get the show on the road. We talked about literally nothing today.
Sorry, guys. I learned so much. Now I know who Collect is. I hope she's okay.
Have a great day. We'll see you Monday.